What is the landing velocity of an object that is dropped from a height of 49 meters? So we're going to go off to the side here, write down our given information. So we know that the object is dropped. So its initial velocity is 0 meters per second. We know that it's dropped from a height of 49 meters. So our initial position is 49 meters. Our final position is 0 meters because it's the landing velocity that we're talking about. So our delta y is negative 49 meters. We also knew that since we're falling under the effect due to gravity, our acceleration is negative 9.8 meters per second squared. Now, three kinematics equations we have to choose from are v equals v naught plus at, v squared equals v naught squared plus 2a delta y, and y equals y naught plus v naught t plus 1/2 a t squared. Now, of our given information, we're not given any form of time for this trip. And if we look at our givens, we have an initial velocity. We're trying to solve for our final velocity, otherwise known as our landing velocity here. And we're given our acceleration and our change in our position, so we can successfully solve for what is v squared. So if we write down the equation that we're going to use, which is the second kinematic equation, v squared equals v naught squared plus 2a delta y. Now we're trying to get v alone on the one side, so we're going to take the square root of both sides, which would leave us with v is equal to square root v naught squared plus 2a delta y. Now, if we plug in our givens, we find that our final velocity is 0 meters per second squared plus a 2 times negative 9.8 meters per second squared times negative 49 meters, and we're taking the square root of all of that. 0 squared is simply 0, so our square root simply becomes the square root of 2 times negative 9.8 times negative 49, but negative times negative will give us a positive value. So if we just carry out the multiplication of all three of these values, we would get 960.4 meters squared per second squared. And now if we took the square root of that value, we would get our velocity is roughly 31 meters per second in the downward direction, which would wind up giving us a negative, because when you take the square root of something, it gives you plus or minus 31 meters per second, and since it is directed downward, our velocity winds up being a negative 31 meters per second.